If you are planning to move to live in America, you see the American dream, I'm gonna give you three advices. I've been living in the US for almost 5 years. I started my business here in the US. Many of you already know. You have watched my channel where I explain about the E2 visa and all that, but I'm gonna give you three advices if you're planning to move to the US. Hey, I'm sorry about the mess. We just moved to this new apartment and you can see all the mess. We haven't moved our table. We haven't moved our furniture, we haven't moved all those things, but we're just moving and the house is a mess. Before you move to the US, choose where you're going. Things like weather, things like cost of living. Some areas are very cold. Some areas are very expensive. Some areas you have to pay a lot of taxes. And all those things, at the end of the day, are important if you're planning to live in America, in the US. So that's very important. Check where are you gonna be moving. The state, you can go online and search for state laws about taxes. You can go online and search for weather conditions in this state or city, wherever you're planning to move. Look at cost of living. Listen, there are many areas where living, the cost of living is very expensive. The east side of the country, let's say, which is known as New England, all the way down to Florida, but I would say the northern part, which is called or known as the New England, let's say from North Carolina up, maybe Pennsylvania, and then New York, New Jersey, all those areas up to Maine. Those are very expensive areas. The center of the country tends to be not as expensive, and then the west side, where California and all those areas is also expensive. So cost of living is very important. Check it out. Check out rentals. Check out, taxes. Check out those things. If you're planning to buy a house in the future, if you're buying a house, for example, in the area of New York City, it's gonna be a lot more expensive than when you're buying a house, in Ohio, or you are buying a house in other places around the center of the country. Think about that. Don't take this, like light or anything like that. Just think about that cost of living. But other thing that also may affect this is that these areas where life is a little more expensive, or there is more opportunity for employment, for jobs. So, you have to compensate one or another. But if you have a job, if you can find a job in the middle of the country in any of those areas, cost of living is a lot less in different states in those areas. So check that. But going out, like going to restaurants and stuff like that is expensive as well. I chose, my family and we chose to come to the east side. So we live like about 2 hours from New York City, and then the same distance to Boston. We are kind of in the middle area, and it's an area that tends to be more expensive than other areas in the country. So cost of living, very important before you move. My second advice and second point would be this. Listen, try to find a place where you're gonna be close to relatives or friends or anybody that you can, interact with. The United States, I have found out that it's people are very lonely. If they have not been here for a long time, or if they are foreigners as well, they tend to be like lonely people. They don't have people that they can trust, like relatives or people that are close to them. So if you're gonna pick a place to live in the US, try to go to a place where you know people, friends and family. I know at the end of the day, we don't know if family is gonna be able to help, if relatives are willing to help, or maybe they will help to a certain point. But anyway, if you can have a good relationship with those people, with relatives, as I said, or people that is gonna be a good help emotionally because you're gonna be down, you're gonna be discouraged, you're gonna be a little depressed maybe sometimes when things are not going that good and stuff like that. So my second advice, very important, pay attention to your emotional life and try to be close to people or areas or as I said, activities where you can have this support about the emotions and things like that. My third tip is this, really, man, weather. Weather is so important because at the end of the day, listen, very low temperatures. I don't know where you're coming from. I'm sorry again about the mess because we're moving, but thank God that we were able to move to a nicer place, a bigger place for my family and kids. But let me tell you, weather is so important. I mean, we live, in my case, I'm living close to New York City, that east side of the country. And between December up to March, at the end of March or even beginning of April, there are very low temperatures. The worst months, I would say, are between December and the beginning of March. Temperatures can go down to 0 Fahrenheit or minus 20 Celsius. So that's very, very important for your living. Wherever you're gonna choose to live, just be cautious with that. Also snow, getting familiar. I mean, snow is beautiful. I love snow. My family loves snow. But after you get like how many inches of snow, and then you're shoveling, and then you're cleaning your car, it's completely frozen, and then you have to go out and it's very cold, and you have to go out to work, and all those things are important for you to consider. And the other thing that I have seen all these years is that businesses tend to go down, sales tend to go down. People don't want to go out too much. People don't want to leave their houses and stuff like that. Even real estate and many other industries go down. So consider that the weather is important, very, very important when you are moving to the U.S. If you're not familiar, if you're not used to very cold and very hot temperatures, because again, July, August, temperatures go to even 100, 105 Fahrenheit, and maybe that would be like 35, 38, even 40 Celsius, when it's very hot. A few days or some weeks during the year. So pay attention to weather, and you're gonna do a lot better with your family. My opinion on this is, if you're moving to the US, planning to move to the US, also considering everything I said, try to move legally. As I said, I was blessed that I was able to move legally to the US with my family, with my wife and my kids, because without them, I would have gone back to my country already, because it's very difficult. It's not easy. People want to come to America and the American dream and all that, and it could happen, but the reality is that it's very difficult for most people, and you have to work really hard, and you have to do many other things to survive and to really do it. All right. So hey, if you like my content, if you like my information, just go ahead and hit like, hit subscribe. I'm gonna be sharing a lot about towns around me, and also about living in the US and the real experiences. Again, the best for you and your family, and I'll see you next time.